amazing only child moms. I'm for comment, your part time working mom friend who loves Yahweh, family, and fun. Welcome to the family of one where we share joys and adventures of raising an only child. Expect relatable stories, parenting laughs, and faith filled tips. Let's make small family life enjoyable. Woo! Hi, and welcome back to the family of one child. This is for your friend. Yes, we're friends because if you're listening to this podcast, hello. Okay, so this today's topic, I'm going to be talking about parenting one with love and strength, and the part where some of the worries that come with it. And it's really like, for me, it doesn't matter if you have one child or multiple children, there's always going to be some ups and downs with it, right? But I just wanted to focus more of the perspective of a mom with an only child because this is what our podcast is all about. So the first one, and I'm going to read some comments from moms who have shared about this topic. And the reason why is because once again, I may not be able to relate to this mom, but you may. I may be reading it. You'll be like, hey, I can relate to what she's saying. Or then when I share my perspective, you may be like, oh, I can relate to yours. And it doesn't matter if you can't relate to either one. It's just a conversation. And I just wanted to share and talk about it. So the first topic is fear about being alone later. One mom mentioned this. I worry for her in the future when we are gone. My daughter may be alone in life at the age of 20 or 30. Now, I I I'm trying to relate to, I think at one time, maybe when Olivia was a little bit younger, maybe when she was 5 or 6, and I was thinking, or maybe it was even younger than that, because I had her at my 40s. And then I was counting out the age difference. I was like, oh my goodness, when she's at this age, I'm going to be at this age. And I'm going to be way, I'm going to be, she's going to be by herself because there's such a big age difference. And my husband, he was like, okay, calm down because now you're going on a cyclone cycle or something. You're just going crazy. But at this time, I could relate to this mom for what she was saying at that moment. Like I did worry at that stage. I worried for her in the future when we were gone. But then I realized, one, what am I worried about? Is it the connection that she's not going to have with other family members around her? She's not going to have a church family. She's not going to be able to have friends. So I really had to really dig deep of what I was really concerned about. And I think it's because, one, I had to look at myself of who do I have in my life, what family members or what friends, church friends, or that I have constantly asked for guidance, parenting advice. And so I reached out to them and asked them, how do they cope for their own children? Because I have a brother who has an only child, and I have a sister who has an only child. Like they have one child each. And then my daughter's only 9 years. She's going to be 9 in a few months. But their children are like in their 20s and I think early 30s. I'm sorry for my nieces and nephew. They're like really auntie. You don't know how old I am. But they're a lot further ahead in life. And so I realized that it's a constant for me to help my child build her community. And then I just got to leave it in a place that I can trust God, that I have done well with the time that's given, with the resources I have. And that's how I was able to encourage myself by building friendships and building support and putting that time in. It's really putting that time in today. So, for example, she has cousins her age. Well, for me, it's taking the time when we do see them that it is quality time because of schedules and everything. But, you know, there are going to be times where it's not convenient for me to go and have, meet up with the cousins all the time to build that relationship. But I know if I don't, because I'm the adult, I can drive. I got to get out of my way. I got to go out of my way to have her go there, have her spend time with her cousins, build that friendships, connect with them, because as they get older, it will, how do you say it? They will rely on them, not rely, but they will take it from where they will add on to what we build. Because, for example, my my mom and dad really encouraged us to build friendships, connections with our cousins. I started to notice, for example, this Thanksgiving, she and her cousins are similar to her age, one of them, and has has a little sister who's, I think she's like 5 and the other one's 3. And so they started to really interact more, as in wanting to know each other more about each other's school, and they really played with each other well and encouraged one another. Whereas before a few years, it was kind of like, yeah, they weren't really paying attention to each other. They were just doing their own thing. They were nice, but I discovered this year by watching them, they were really interested in what the other person was learning at school, what the other person was, you know, what they thought about a certain game, and they really interacted well. And I thought that is so awesome. So as I'm saying this, my sister-in-law reached out to me. She goes, "Hey, the kids would love to come over to your house, and there's 3 of them to play with, your child." And I was like, oh my goodness, I'm hardly ever at home. We're always at the barn. We're doing things. But then I thought, wait, if I want her to have and be surrounded by people who love and have grown with her since she was little, who are positive, and she really connects on well with them and their family, I need to put that time in now. So as an adult, I can do that for her. And is it going to, for me, like sometimes be inconvenient because I just want a quiet house? Yeah. So I'm encouraging you, if you have, you have your only child, and if they have cousins who you are able to build that, whether if it's a play day or I don't know, even if it's once a year, I mean, at least start with something that you're able to do. They're able to spend time. And so I hope that as you keep building those relationships for your child with either their cousins or friends, and sometimes, honestly, friends come and go. I've noticed that with her. Some friends, because whatever personalities or just location wise, the family moves or they just grow out of the friendship. But with family, once your family, your family. So, and depending, you might like, well, I don't want her to know her cousins for whatever reason, or maybe you do. But I just want to continue to let you know that I hope you continue to build the community. It takes time. It surely does. Okay, our next one, another mom said, What does she say? She feels guilty about missing out. And this mom said, I love having one kid, but sometimes I do feel guilty about my child will never have what I had growing up because she loves her siblings. I had siblings and I was the youngest of five. So I always had someone look out for me in a new environment. But there may be some siblings who didn't do that for you. Well, I had those siblings. I had a sibling, she was 3 years older than me. So when I started school, she was already there and she knew the people, the teachers. She pretty much knew, how to get around the school grounds. And so she made me feel comfortable. And if I could see in the playground area, for example. But Olivia, she didn't have that because she was the only child. And as she's growing up in new situations, in new locations, she's had to deal with it as our children do with an only child. And so, in some ways, it would have been nice those those moments. It's just those moments. And then when she tells me, you know, I see if I something happens in the playground area, which I think I mentioned before, I wish I had a sibling I could go to. But then she's learned to like, okay, well, I don't have a sibling. So what I can do is one, go to a good friend who understands like me. And then she has some friends who are also an only child. And so she goes to them if she needs a friend to talk about something, or she goes to a friend who has multiple siblings, or she goes to a teacher, and then she'll say, okay, you know, I do find eventually I find someone if I need to talk about something in a playground area, or if I'm annoyed or just something, which is in some ways I I am so encouraged by her because of our children with an own, because they've had to like be the trailblazers all the time. I didn't have to be a trailblazer because that path was already pathed out for me. Going to school, going to middle school, going to high school, those paths, even in when I was like going through different stages in life, growing up, getting my period, all of that. My siblings had already pathed it out for me so I can know where to step, what to do, and encouragement. And I had someone similar my age to talk to. Whereas my daughter, I mean, she, her and I are still learning. You think we would have, okay, we have an amazing relationship, but there are days moments where she will come to me later on and she'll say, Mom, it would have been nice to have a sibling close to my age because when I tell you stuff, you're going to be like, either what is it now? Which I don't think I say, what is it now? But apparently she says the way I look is like, Mummy's going to say no, or I'm not going to talk to her. So I have to listen and be open because one, I am doing my best, but apparently I got a lot of work to go through, according to my child. Which, okay, if she says it, then it must be true. So I need to honor that. But I tell her, hey, I am doing my best. I'm really trying to relax my face and try and have an open heart, open hands, so you can tell me and you feel safe about what you need to share. Even if it's complaining about my cooking or whatever, or maybe I talk too much. Who knows? Sometimes it depends on what the moment is. So, what was my point? My point is that maybe you relate to this mom about you had siblings, or maybe that you also were a child, you grew up as an only child. So, it really depends. It's very interesting. I just want to give a shout out to my two amazing listeners from the United States. Thank you for listening. One is from Simsbury, Connecticut. Yay! I hope you're doing so good. And I want to thank you for listening and supporting this podcast. You are amazing, Mom from Simsbury, Connecticut, and the mom from Las Vegas, Nevada. Oh, thank you both so much. Mom from Las Vegas, Nevada. Thank you. You are amazing as well. I just appreciate you both so, so much. Absolutely. And I want to tell you, please let me know how you're doing. You can just like send me a text through the podcast, or if you're listening through another app, send me an email or give me a thumbs up or just let me know how you're doing. I appreciate you. I would love for you to come on the podcast. Let me know what you want to talk about. And if you relate to this, wonderful. If you're thinking, kind of, not really, or maybe you're thinking, this was something to think about. I just want to thank you both so much for listening. And another one, this last one is this mom talks about their child may end up carrying all the caregiving duties alone. That's what she was saying. The heavy responsibility of their only child carrying all the caregiving duties alone. Now, I had to have a wake up call because being an islander, I was like, of course, this child will have to look after us because, hello, I gave birth to this child. I I love this child. I gave everything, made sure that this child had all that they need financially, encouragement. And yes, when I'm of a certain age, I will love my child to take good care of me. But I think as I started to hear other mums with an only child who are a lot further ahead. I mean, their child are a lot like an age wise, and they're a lot older, so they have parented like they have wisdom, and I'm still growing. Remember, my child is only 8, and I'm 49, and I've still got a long way to go. So I realize that maybe I'm looking at it wrong from a selfish point of view because one, maybe it's not the way I look at it. It's not for my child to solely be responsible financially for me. I mean, I have a job. My husband and I are responsible adults. So it would make sense for him and I to be responsible to make sure as we grow older that we do have financial savings or whatever to take care of ourselves. It should not be a burden to our child. And I was thinking, I didn't see it that way. Now you're probably thinking, really? Yeah. See, I'm telling you, I am still learning. And maybe you were already there. You'll be like, oh, yeah, I did not feel that I should burden my only child. And I don't know if I should say burden, or maybe the expectations was, I am not expecting my child to be financially like a caregiver, whatever that looks like. I mean, my expectations for my child is as I grow up, as I'm getting older, I would like, and if I'm not in my sound mind, I would like her to make good and wise decisions if I don't have something in place. Like, there's a lot of curveballs and things happen, and I do my best by my husband and I planning things beforehand as best as we can, but things happen. And that's where we do our best to speak to family members that if anything were to happen, that they would take care of her as if they were her parents and vice versa. Like I would step in and take care of my siblings' children. What do you think? Yeah, we're good. But I'm just saying, there's so many, or maybe you have a best friend, or maybe you have like a cousin, I don't know, or someone who you fully trust. But to help you make and plan those as best as you can. So my husband and I, we did talk about this, about, finance. And it's a lot of hard decisions because maybe because we're in our late 40s and she's only 8. And what would it look like if we both needed medical financial help for whatever reason and we couldn't afford a job? I mean, we couldn't have a job anymore. Or what when if one of us lost a job and we still have a child who's only 8. I mean, we don't expect her to pay bills, and we wouldn't expect her at 20 to pay for our financial situation because we are the ones that got ourselves there and not her. So I guess I really had to look at it from a different perspective. And I was thinking, I don't know, maybe because I thought, you know, she owes me. I don't know, which is not a good thing because if she was here right now, she'd be like, I did not pay for that house. You're the one that decided to get that house. You're the one decided to get the car. You're the one that decided to get those clothes and eat out. You're an adult. And I'll be like, you're right. Daddy and I did decide because we chose what we did with our money. We didn't invest it. So there were so many questions, so many conversations I had with myself and my husband. And then I looked at, just thinking from she's only a child and being a good, just learning how to, whew, I don't know. It is tough. So I hope that you just listening to me, you're probably thinking, I am way ahead of you in this area. Meaning you have like already had these conversations or you've thought about it, or maybe like your mom, like who said this, if you're gonna do one and done, have a contingency plan for how you deal with life unpredictable curveballs. I mean, maybe you're that mom, or maybe you're the mom like me who are thinking, no, my child owes me, and she's gonna pay for my life because I'm the one that brought her up. And then maybe you mean like now, like realize, like, you know what? Actually, I've changed my mind. I'm the one for me that got myself in this financial situation, so therefore, I should be responsible for taking care of it. My name's Four, and this is the Family of One Child podcast. I want to thank you so, so much for listening. You all are amazing. I'll see you in the next episode. Thanks for listening. Bye.